culturally, economically, and diplomatically. And to shape global conversation, one of influential tools in strengthening Indonesia's global voice is through the sport itself. And right now we are going to explore more in VOI Talk today. And I'm not alone. I'm here with three amazing guests. And one is Indonesian ambassador to France, Andora, Monaco, and UNESCO, Your Excellency Pak Mohamad Oemar. And then followed by Mohamad Kusnaeni from the RRI Supervisory Board, who is also a football observer. And also Gerry Utama, Chief of the Overseas Indonesian Students Associations Alliance, America and Europe. Welcome to VOI Talk. Okay, so without any further ado, let's begin this special interview. First, I would like to ask Pak Kusnaeni, maybe. So football is often called a universal language, and from the perspective of, we know that football can become a tool of cultural diplomacy and strengthen Indonesia's global voice. And how can we do it, Pak Kusnaeni?
Yeah, we know that for Indonesian people, most of Indonesian people, football is not only a sport. Maybe we can say that football is a massive unifying cultural force and also capable of fostering international connection and even driving social development. Leveraging this popularity, Indonesia, I think, can align with UNESCO framework to turn the pitch into a platform of diplomacy, education, and also sustainable progress. I think Indonesia already have an experience with batik and pencak silat. We can use football also to facilitate international engagement, such as a collaborative effort between Indonesian football with international institutions, such as Newcastle United, Manchester City, Manchester United, and other clubs in Europe, also in America, maybe.
Okay, so next question maybe for Pa Oemar. How do you see that Indonesia sport is being used, especially to connect with other countries, especially with the connection with other countries in diplomacy itself? And how do you see it from the perspective of UNESCO?
Oh, well, thank you very much, and good afternoon, I suppose, in Indonesia now, to everyone. Yeah, I mean, since you raised a very interesting question about sport, indeed, as we all can witness and enjoy, sport is now, not only now actually, since long time ago has become an icon that can connect people from different backgrounds, from different countries across the globe, especially the special or very famous popular sports like football, tennis, badminton, and many others, where international events has all been attracting so many attention of many people. And through that kind of events, sport is definitely a powerful means also to provide a country's ability, capacity at the world stage. But let us not forget that to be able to really reach that standing or a global profile, international profile, if you may, of a country's capacity or achievement, we have to really do our homework, that is to build the capacity of our national teams, the management, of course, of sports, and all the relevant ecosystem that supports the achievement, the higher kind of capacity of our sportsmen and women. That is my view in this respect.
Okay, now maybe another question to Bung Kusnaeni first. With major football events like World Cups and continental tournaments increasingly getting more and more popular, and also linked to education and social legacy, what role can the Indonesia and the country itself play in ensuring football contributes to sustainable development and cultural exchange itself, like between countries, Bungkus?
Yeah, I think major tournaments such as World Cup, maybe also Toyota Cup, or even Olympic, I think can provide lasting legacy if properly managed. Yeah? UNESCO Indonesia, I think, can play a key role in ensuring this contribution. PSSI, I think, already has a program focusing on long-term youth development, and also creating youth competition, which align with creating sustainable long-term impact rather than just a short-term gains. I think very important for Indonesia to to ensure football initiative is also focused on education, social justice, and also equality. I think we know that many young players in Indonesia also has a very good talent, also has a very good potential to become good players, professional players, even international players. But they need assist from the PSSI, from the government, to fulfill their dreams to become international or professional players.
Okay, thank you so much, Bungkus, for the answer, and we hope that we can have more discussion with you. And then next one is I would like to ask Pa Gerry and Pa Oemar again, maybe from the question from the runs of the standpoint of runs sport itself. In sport development initiatives worldwide, and how can the sport like football maybe be used to support in Indonesia, to be used as a tool to support the Indonesia education and also youth empowerment and social inclusion in line with UNESCO's program itself? Maybe we can start with Pa Gerry and then followed by Pa Oemar.
Thank you very much for this question. It's quite really interesting. I was thinking that when you're talking about football, it's like there are tools as for intercultural dialogue and inclusion and peace building across society. So people, not only as the Indonesian Student Association from America, Europe, we use this as the one language to understand and also to play together to understand, not only between Indonesian students who study in every country that become our regions, but also tools to interact with the overseas, to foreigners that where we study. So I think that this is really one of the initiatives, not only for as a tool intercultural dialogue, but also I really want to say this, it's like initiative fit for life, I think.
Okay, then maybe from the point of view of Pa Oemar, maybe what can you say? Does sport itself and maybe football can be used as a tool for Indonesia to increase the connection between countries?
Yeah, thank you again. Well, yes, definitely, I fully agree that sports can play an important role in increasing the profile of a country at the global stage. But back again, as in a general concept of diplomacy or foreign policy, we need a strong basis to be able to be heard, to be credible, and to be respectful at international stage. And that will start from domestic homework kind of concept that you have to really finalize. You have to have a very solid foundation to be able to be heard and to speak loudly and to be respected at the international level. And learning from country like France, for example, you can see at least one very popular and famous football team in France who is very famous, has achieved many achievements at the global stage, at Europe, regional as well, and as well as if you look at their record during the World Cups, previous World Cups. And France also at the same time establishing or building a very solid kind of ecosystem at home. The complete kind of set of elements that support sports as sport itself, but at the same time that support the athlete who dedicate their life to increase their capacity to achieve local, national, regional, and global achievement or tournaments or medals, whatever you want to call it. They cannot just do it on their own. We need, I think, the government, the private sector, the society, the community, they really have to have the kind similar to share the same spirit of supporting sport. Because without a solid foundation ecosystem at home, it is just impossible unless it's a purely individual sport, like maybe athletic. A marathon champion from Africa might not need a complete ecosystem to support them. But if you talk about football, tennis, basketball, whatever, even golf are supported by a strong ecosystem at home. So basically, yes, the answer is yes, that sports is a sector, an area of importance that can bring a country to become famous and respected in the world, but at the same time, it can also bring or strengthen nationalism, the unity of the citizen of a country, and therefore it needs a concerted and a shared mindset of supporting the sport, including from the business and finance point of view.
Okay, that is really interesting, Pak Oemar. And so I would like to ask again for the both of you. If football is to become a lasting instrument for Indonesia's global voice abroad, what kind of long-term collaboration is actually needed between the government and the media and educational institutions and also international partners to make this vision sustainable for the long term? Maybe we can start with Gerry.
Thank you. Actually, the most we have to ensure that football as the universal language, actually, how do we keep it ecosystem inside our country, home country, and then that we must do for overseas students in Indonesia, America, Europe. One of the most important that we would like to collaborate. Sometimes UNESCO also is to partner with the government and a kind of sport institution to ensure and football and major sporting event promote education, inclusion, and long-term social impact beyond the stadium, then beyond everything that can collaborate. So the most important that how to we keep the good ecosystem, we build the ecosystem our home country, and the first one, and the second one, as a student who living in abroad, we try to promote and ensure and amplifying that we have it. What we can collaborate sometimes like in French, like in Russia, and also some countries that belongs to our region works. Sometimes I totally agree what His Excellency Ambassador said that how to keep the ecosystem first, and then to promote internationally, we need to still process. The case problem because we still in the process that long-term process, and sometimes we work in the short-term process, but we try to abandon the long-term process, the ecosystem way, how to keep it every step the process, every single information, every single one way to go to the international to strengthen our global voice of Indonesia through the football can be ensured to make sure that this is really amplifying the representative and the vision of Indonesia, not only of football, also because as UNESCO also is they try to amplifying education and social and also kind of like the culture also to promote. So I think football not only as sport but also as a culture. So the media is really important to amplifying, to inform it. Not only I would like no, I don't want to say only football, but also all the kind of sports. So what we work try to promote this step, try to build also in the overseas in the embassy of every country. So like in Indonesia, it belongs to the Republic of Indonesia. Try to make a chapter of the division of the sport. Like we did it the first try. We tried to not only football, but the second one we tried to pencasilat. Pencasilat is already famous, and every embassy they have the division of the sport of the pencasilat also. And also I make sure also the football. We have also the youngs Indonesia who study not only in the university but in the high school also. They can also to collaborate with the young clubs, sport club. Our scale of the also kid city where they live in the overseas of America youth place.
Okay, now for Pa Oemar, maybe what is your thought?
Yeah, I think I will start by sharing one information that under the UNESCO, they have a specific kind of instrument because UNESCO is overseeing a convention, the Convention on Anti-Doping, which relates very closely to the sport, the international sports event. So in Indonesia, we have called IADA, Indonesian Anti-Doping Agency, and at the global level, you have the World Anti-Doping Agency or WADA. That is, as I mentioned, is overseeing or managing under UNESCO work. And then basic kind of instrument that it produces is the regulation more scientific kind of basis on the level of drugs or whatever that is allowed or not allowed in sports. And of course, UNESCO is supporting the development of sports, but it is not a specialized international organization dedicated to oversee or to manage sports in the world. There is another international organization that is the IOC, International Olympic Committee, for sure, yeah? And especially for the sport branches that is played at the Olympics, different kind of Olympics at the global or regional levels. So to continue what my colleague who just shared on the idea to support this ecosystem, I think I will also mention about the importance of international cooperation, not only in developing the ecosystem, because like France sports school, especially in football school, they have come to us and expressed their interest to engage in cooperation with Indonesian institution or both private or government who are interested to develop football kind of education institute in Indonesia. And also at the level of government to government, France is also open for that, and both Indonesia and France has signed kind of memorandum of understanding to work together in education, which includes also sport. We do have an annual kind of forum, inter-university forum between our higher education kind of forum, France and Indonesia, which is also open for this kind of engagement to develop sports, not only for football, but in general. So, but one important consideration that need to be taken into account, that when you choose a partner to cooperate, you have to be sure, number one, of what are your needs. What do we need? We cannot just cooperate in all kind of sport. You have to focus. If you want to promote football, focus on that. And when you want to find a partner who really have the capacity and the competitive edge. Maybe one country in Africa is good in football, but not necessarily they have the competitive edge of a kind of a solid foundation ecosystem that can really generate a best player of the world, top player of the world. You have to, well, France could be one option because it has a kind of a comprehensive ecosystem. You can look at the historical kind of data, how many times a country achieves certain level of record at the national, or the regional, or international level. Then you can decide, you can look at their capacity domestically, their ecosystem, then engage, start to cooperate with that country to help us in building our ecosystem. So in addition to other aspects, international cooperation with the right partner that can support, build, and strengthen the capacity is also very crucial.
Okay, that is really interesting from the answer from both of you. And as a final reflection, what message would the both of you, Pa Oemar and Pa Gerry, would like to convey to the policymakers and football stakeholders, and also the younger generation who is in Indonesia and maybe abroad, to show that football can serve and sports can serve as a strategic bridge in strengthening Indonesia's character, unity, and presence in the global community? Maybe we can start with the final message from Pa Oemar.
Well, yeah, thank you again. I think in addition to my formal or official position, of course, like many Indonesian fellows across the country and abroad, we are all love sports, and also I believe that we are all love football. So and the best, I think, dream that we all have is not only to watch football match at the global level on TV, on many kind of channel, but the best time would be to see Indonesian players playing on those global stage. That is why it would be ideal to have a solid ecosystem at home to be built sustainably. We cannot just depend on certain period of official or government or association in sport. You have to really have a solid foundation. So I think, and we do have, it's just the implementation that need to be strengthened. System that really can support the development from the very, very basic stage up to the professional stage, that continuously taking care of the sports and focus on the sports, not only a daily sports, popular sport, but the sports is going to have really a global standing, focus on the sport that really has the power to attract and to bring and even to be able to flag Indonesian red and white into the different national competition, international competition. That is our dream. Let's start from our homework. Let's cooperate with a competitive and a country which has good achievement and prepare for a long-term cooperation to build a very good achievement in a long term, not just about 3, 4, 5 years to come, but for the maybe 20, 25, and 50 years to come, that we are becoming a country that has a famous football, basketball, volleyball, golfers, athletics respected around the world.
Okay, thank you so much, Pak Oemar and Pak Gerry. Maybe would you like to share your final thoughts?
Okay, thank you very much. I totally agree what the ambassador said. That, so I like to make the final message for me, like keep in growing and progressing about the sport. So the right sport is always on the right place. So they don't choose in the same place, but we have to be more focused in which sport, football, for example. So the right football is always the right place, always. Where we choose, we have to be responsible and we have to keep growing and consistent process, because football is not only about the sport, it's also about the education system. It's about this ecosystem that I already mentioned before by the ambassador, but also it's talking about nutrition also of our player, for our Indonesian people. So I really hope when 2045, when the youngster in Indonesia, it's like become the most people, the youngster, they have really keep the nutrition as really one of the instrument to keep for implementing, like to also the progressing for the sport process, because sport is not only for fun, for universal language, also talking about all the ecosystem of human, everything about inside the human, food, nutrition also. So I hope the good player, it start from the best nutrition. That's what our government start to did it from the start, from the young kids, like the kids, with the giving feedback on food, to ensure 2045 we ready to make our global voice become globally through the sport. That I really want to mention that. So the sport always choose the right place. So the right place always in all the good things, the ecosystem they are already preparing before long-term process. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Pak Oemar and Pak Gerry, and also Pak Kusnaeni, for your time in staying with us in VOI Talk special episode today. And so, voice listener, as we listen to the interesting and amazing insights of our honorable guest, and we know that football and sport is not just a game, but it is a more powerful platform for diplomacy, education, and also the youth empowerment in the global stage itself. And through strong collaboration between government, international institutions, media, and also the younger generation, sports can help amplify Indonesia's voice in the world stage. And thank you so much for listener, and also Pak Oemar and Pak Gerry for coming to the special episode of VOI Talk today. And my name is Ray, and stay tuned with us for more interesting discussion like this, only on VOI Talk in Voice of Indonesia, from Indonesia to the world.
Voice of Indonesia.